If you've ever seen my shorts or watched some of my other videos, you may know that I give away a lot of merch on this channel. A lot of Rooster Teeth centered merch and companies that kind of blossomed out of Rooster Teeth. So where does the merch come from? Well, a lot of it recently has come from donations, especially from former Rooster Teeth cast members like Griff from Boyfriend Material and Steffi from Achievement Hunter. But most of it has come from my personal collection or things that I've seen on eBay or on the Rooster Teeth subreddit, and I actually buy myself to then ship for free to the winners. Now I know what you're thinking. Man, this floppy disk repairman must be rolling in the dough. He must live somewhere 30 years in the past where technology hasn't caught up and he just has a ton of business. Well, no, not exactly. Aside from the merch giveaways being a little expensive, especially over a long period of time, I would really like to get even cooler merch than we've already given away. And we've given away some really, really cool things. Like we've given away one of the old challenge coins that Bernie would hand out when you met him. We've given away the Laser Team action figures, Rage Quit hoodie, a bunch of DVDs, and a ton of other stuff. And it's really cool, but I would like to give out even more cool stuff, and the only way to really do that is by buying it. I don't like the idea of setting up a Patreon. I think you guys are probably subscribed to more Patreons than you can even count. I know I am, and that's not really the angle I wanted to do with this whole content creation thing. This is just a lot of fun for me, and I want to keep it going as long as I can. So I was like, I could do donations, like monetary donations, but even that I don't love. So I ended up doing what the title says, and I said, let's just sell floppy disks. So there you go, floppydiscrepairman.com. There's 20 floppy disks on sale right now. If it goes well, I'll have another round out really quick. 20 for 4,000 subscribers feels like a safe bet, but hey, who knows? I made a short earlier this week talking about it, and we've had a few sales already. So if you're interested in it and you want to fund the giveaways, that's the best way to do it. Also, I have left an option open to just make a $5 donation. I'm going to try to do something where I kind of get everyone together who did give a donation and maybe do like a cool giveaway out of that group. But again, don't love the idea of just doing straight up donations. But if you want to, it's there. And really, this is a donation. The whole thing is just going to fund the merch giveaways and the shippings that we're already doing. And I'm going to go through the financials later on in the video if you're interested to see the breakdown. And if you want to skip that boring financial part at the end, I'll sum it up here by basically saying they cost about $19.13 to make, and we're charging $20 for them. So we're not really raking in the profits. In fact, one of the only reasons I went up to $20 was to account for costs I didn't calculate, which I've already noticed there are some, but that's for the financial part. So first off, how do you source floppy disks in 2025? Well, the answer is Amazon. It was pretty easy to get floppy disks. I had one that I actually had signed by a few people at Homebrew Austin, but I wanted to do more than just ship out a floppy disk that I bought on Amazon because that felt super lazy and really lame for people who are going to be supporting what we're doing. So I'm like, if I want to put something on the floppy disks, I need to have a floppy disk reader, if those things even still exist. And one of the coolest things about Austin that I really love is there is basically a store for everything. Lampshade stores, there's cobblers to repair shoes, there's stores for literally everything, and off the interstate in Austin, there is a store called Altex, which is a computer parts store. So I woke up early to go film some coffee shops. If you don't know, I go to the locations where Gus and Jeff do their Anma/Good Morning Gustavo podcast and film the area so you get to see what it looks like, film the coffee shop so you get an idea if you don't live in Austin. And then I went to Altex, and it was a really interesting experience. I love the outside. It looks like it hasn't changed in 30 years. So we went in. Funny enough, the first thing I had to do was use the restroom, and the restroom was actually through their break room. So you had to walk through their break room where they had like their coffee pot, and it was just a really cool, quaint 90s feel. It was a pretty big place for what it was. So I go to one of the guys behind the counter because they had like 5 employees working. They must be doing pretty well. And I said, okay, I need a plug and play floppy disk drive for a 3.5-inch floppy that preferably would work with a Mac, or I can also do a PC. This dude stared at me with the most blank stare I've seen in a long time, and he said he's worked there for 30 years and he doesn't think there's been a floppy disk there for at least 20. I left the store a bit dejected, but I knew there was some on Amazon. I just kind of wanted to shop local. So then I had to figure out what I wanted to put on the floppy disks, and floppy disks don't have a lot of space. It's about 1.44 megs. I wanted to put something cool on there, something a little retro, so the first thing I did was a certificate that I made using Microsoft Paint and images from an old old certificate maker software from the 90s. I also included a text file, one because it was small, but mostly because I wanted to be able to thank everyone and let them know how important this was to me and how much I love doing it. And the last chunk of space I had a little idea for. So a lot of you may know that I did a little tour video where I went around and showed what all the Rooster Teeth offices look like now. I did both a 10-minute version and then I did a full 2-hour version where I gave kind of a bunch of lore and talked about Rooster Teeth for like 2 hours. And I really have such a special place in my heart for the people who have watched that 2-hour video all the way through. I've actually talked to a few of them, and seriously, coolest people on earth. But I wanted to kind of reference that and still do something a little Rooster Teeth related, so I put one of 4 random images from one of the 4 Rooster Teeth offices in and around Austin on each floppy disk. They're not stills from the video or anything, they were taken for this purpose. And I actually had to run them through a few programs to downsize them enough to still fit them on the floppy disk. And of course, right when I was at the capacity of the floppy disks, I'm sitting there and I have one Rooster Teeth story like pop up randomly in my head. It's when Bernie talked about how they packaged the first DVD, they were completely ready, everything was done, and they were all sitting around that night after making the DVD, staring at the DVD and going, it needs bonus features, it needs something else. And he talked about how everyone kind of sighed because it had been so much work and it would be so much more work, but they all knew that they wanted to deliver something of quality, and that's what they did. So I did my best to embody that and got some little stickers made with the little floppy disk repair logo on it, put it on each floppy disk, and wrote a little number 1 to say like, this is the first edition, and then I individually numbered each one of the first batch of 20. I put some footage here of that process, and I even threw on a little red versus blue to give me some added motivation. So let's talk about the financials a little bit. I promise I'll try to not make this too boring and wrap it up pretty quick, but I really kind of value transparency and stuff like this. The whole point of this was to do something fun and give you something for supporting the merch donations. Yes, if you can't tell, I was a business major, and that was like a decade ago. So it's been some time. I haven't really used anything from my major. So the fixed costs first, like the P.O Box, right now it's $34.67 a month. So we're going to keep it open for a little while. Then we have the Rooster Teeth merch budget. So basically that $100 is going to be used to buy Rooster Teeth merch to then give away. Now, if we start selling more of these floppy disks, yes, we will get cooler stuff. I would like nothing more than to buy one of those season 15 DVDs for like $500 and give it away. I think that would be really cool. And then the free shipping for winners. Then I have the domain floppydiscrepairman.com. That whole thing is $3 a month right now. Now, variable costs. So the floppy disks come out to about $2 per, and those are the kind of the nicer ones that have some color in them. The stickers come out to about 25 cents a piece. We may change the stickers as, you know, we sell more. The labor, all told, between like getting everything, putting it together, putting all the stuff on the floppy disk, it takes me about 20 minutes per floppy disk, so we're talking like $3 an hour, so definitely not minimum wage. Then shipping. I calculated shipping for basically kind of the average that I've been seeing, that's like a $6. If you're further away and if Shopify thinks you're going to cost more than the $6, apparently it will add some to the price. The whole point here is that you wouldn't pay for shipping also, or at least most of the shipping. So as you can see over on the right, we're doing 20 total floppy disks the first time around. So the variable cost per unit and the fixed cost per unit come out to a total cost per unit of $19.13. So I kept it an even $20. So that's a total profit for me for $17.33. Now, crucially, I can already tell one of the things I left out of here was the floppy disk reader. And then I got a little frustrated with it because there was something wrong and I ejected a disk too quickly and it got jammed and I was trying to pull it out. I had to buy a new floppy disk reader. So already that profit's gone. I also did see a comment that made me and my fiance laugh pretty hard, was that somebody basically said, floppy disk repairman is making floppy disks, floppy disk reader breaks, floppy disk repairman doesn't repair it, which, yeah, I got a huge chuckle out of that, which I will, with some hindsight and a few showers between now and then to think about it, I will respond and say I'm a floppy disk repairman. I don't do floppy disk readers. Totally different profession. We respect each other, but let's just say we're not hanging out at Christmas parties. We're at the same Christmas parties, but we're not hanging out. This is the point now where I thank everyone so much for their support. It's been so much fun these last few months making these videos. We're up to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, 2,400 on TikTok, and we finally broke 100 on Instagram. I credit a lot of the success to Chris Damaris, who gave me a couple pointers. This has been so much fun, and I come home every day from my job that I don't particularly love, and it's so cool to be able to go into something that you know is going to be a ton of work, and you're not upset about it. You're excited. It's the coolest feeling in the world, and I really have to say, if you've wanted to make something, please go make it. It is such a rewarding feeling. 20 people watching a video is huge for me. When I have a video hit 200,000 views, like one of my Where Are They Now videos, I don't even know how to process that. One last little housekeeping thing. I am starting a podcast with some members from the community. I made a post on the Rooster Teeth website looking for people, and I've put this at the end of the video because anybody who's made it this far is clearly at least somewhat committed to Rooster Teeth and maybe this channel. And it's not going to be like the Floppy Disk Repairman's podcast. We're going to do something that's collaborative, that we are going to put on our own channel, and it's going to be something that is completely between the 4 or 5 of us. A few people have reached out. I have some people that I have in mind. If you want to reach out and you want to make something and you're committed and want to make it every single week, it's going to be a lot of hard work, and it's going to be more than just 4 fans of Rooster Teeth talking about Rooster Teeth stuff. Though I'll give you more specifics when you reach out. I put my socials at the end, so reach out to me if that's something you want to do. In the meantime, you guys are awesome, and I hope to keep making great content for you, and it's going to be my sole focus every time I sit down in front of this computer. Also, I just now realized I never said the name of the website or any sort of advertisement for the floppy disk itself, so I'm going to record that now and put it somewhere else in the video in a more strategic spot. So there you go, even more sausage talk. Thanks guys, see you soon.